Deal.
Yeah.
3 Houston area teenagers are sick and dealing with lung illnesses after vaping.
The Harris County Public Health Department investigating all 3 cases, while the CDC is warning people about using e-cigarettes. The story kicks off tonight's 90-second nightcap.
Health experts say they're in the early stages of investigating and that these 3 Houston teens are too small of a sample size to make any conclusions. Still, they say this trend of lung damage is affecting young people. They do not know yet if these problems are due to younger people having different lung development than older people, or if these teens inhaled other substances like THC.
In an effort to fight identity fraud and terrorism, the Real ID Act requires proof of citizenship or legal residency when applying for a new or renewed driver's license. Many drivers, like 90-year-old Margaret Heathcock, are unaware of the new requirements.
I have to have my birth certificate, so I'm coming back in another day or two and get it renewed.
Heathcock was never issued a birth certificate when she was born, but has a document that takes its place.
John Bolton was spotted at the White House Tuesday morning, shortly before President Trump announced he was out as National Security Advisor. The president tweeted, "I informed John Bolton last night that his services are no longer needed at the White House, and therefore I asked John for his resignation, which was given to me this morning." Bolton tweeted that he was the one who offered his resignation.
We've created something truly special, and I'm thrilled to introduce it to you now.
Apple unveiled its newest phone today. The iPhone 11 Pro has 3 cameras that the company says pros can count on. 3 versions of the phone start at $699. Pre-orders begin Friday.